Hi, everybody. Captain Lou here with another Extravagant Few Minutes live here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. And, of course, on our Facebook page, which is the Captain Lou Extravaganza. And on X, at The Real Captain Lou. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you get all of our great programming, all of our Extravagant Few Minutes episodes. And, of course, live and archived, the Extravaganza with yours truly, and also my tag team partner, Mitch Bernstein, and the latest edition of the ACHA Power Play Season 10, Episode 4, coming up tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Eric Mabey, the head coach of Florida Gulf Coast, a perennial powerhouse in ACHA hockey over the past 2 decades. He's going to stop by. We're going to talk all things Florida Gulf Coast hockey, get you all the rankings and everything. That's all right here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. So we invite you to subscribe to our channel as always. And remember, an Extravagant Few Minutes, as all of our episodes on the network, is brought to you by the official secondary market of the Captain Lou Sports Network, and that is SeatGeek. Use the promo code Captain Lou and you get $20 off of your purchase. It is that simple. If you're still wanting to head down to the Lions game, I know there might be a few tickets left on the secondary market. Go to SeatGeek. Use the promo code Captain Lou for $20 off of that purchase. All right. Happy Monday, everybody. Yes, indeed. Tonight, it's a double dip on Monday Night Football, and it's starting off with the Lions and Tampa Bay, and then Houston and Seattle in the nightcap. Back-to-back, no staggered times tonight as far as that goes on ESPN and ABC. Detroit and Tampa, 7 o'clock Eastern Time is the kick for that one. And my question to you right away, who's got the bigger measuring stick tonight? Well, who needs to win the most? Who's got the most to prove? Is it the one-loss Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or is it the 2-loss Detroit Lions? Green Bay won last night. Chicago won yesterday. So Detroit needs this to stay, even in the loss column with Chicago. And I know Green Bay's got that one loss and a tie. So this is a big game for Detroit tonight. They're going to be down quite a few defenders, especially Brian Branch. He's off with that suspension. Kirby Joseph's going to be out. Terrion Arnold's out. It doesn't look good for the Lions on the defensive side of the ball, that's for sure. But Tampa Bay's missing some of their offensive weapons too. So I got a feeling Detroit needs a shootout to win this one tonight. Presley and I, we don't bet on the Lions. We don't bet on Michigan. I get all that. So we're not going to make any bets tonight on either game. We're going to stay away. But that being said, if we did, I would say take the over on this one, the first game especially. I think there's going to be some points to be scored, and I think the Lions are going to have to win in a shootout. I don't see them winning a defensive struggle at all. And what can you say about Baker Mayfield? Everybody's on the hype train for Patrick Mahomes for the last couple of games. Baker Mayfield's done it all year. If it wasn't for Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay would be probably 2-4 or 1-5. No question about it. He is right now the MVP in my eyes of the National Football League. So Detroit's going to have to be on their A game to contain him. Maybe neutralize him a little bit. Try not to give up too many big plays. But I got a feeling this one's got the makings of a 31-27 game, 34-31, 34-28. This is going to be a Donnybrook tonight. It's going to be a fun game on Monday Night Football. It's going to be worth losing sleep if you're someone like me that's got to get up at 3:30 in the morning to go to work. Fortunately, my day isn't real bad tomorrow, so chances are I'll probably stay awake for the whole thing. I can't wait for it. So again, no bet tonight with Presley, the Wonder Dog, and myself. With this being a Monday night, Lions night, not betting on the Lions games, no bets tonight. We ended up 2-2 on the 3-2 on the weekend, so we did all right. So we'll go with that as far as those bets go. All right. Speaking of college football, let's switch over to there, shall we? And I know it's only Monday, but is it me, or does it just feel that it doesn't feel like a typical Michigan State week? There's just seems to be a lack of hype, a lack of juice, for a lack of a better word. I don't know. And I think it's just what's going on here in the state of Michigan. Michigan State again got beat on Saturday. Not a surprise there. A lot of folks didn't think they'd cover the spread. They wouldn't have, except for that last-minute field goal by Jonathan Smith, or his decision to kick that field goal. But it's just a crazy, crazy feeling Ann Arbor, or in East Lansing and Ann Arbor for that matter. I just don't see the hype. And here's my first question. All kidding aside, here's my first question to the Michigan State fan. Is beating Michigan enough for Jonathan Smith to keep his job? Do you want him to win? If he wins, he's going to stick around. There's no doubt about it. It's a big rivalry game. It's, unfortunately for Michigan State, it's their Super Bowl right now. They need wins in bunches if they want to go to a bowl game. But do you really want them around? I know deep down you want to beat Michigan. There's no doubt about it. But does it come with a caveat? I mean, is it like making a deal with the devil? That's the kind of feeling it is right now in East Lansing, and it's a terrible feeling. As a Michigan fan, I get it, and I'm not a big Sharon Moore fan. I think they're winning despite him. But in East Lansing, it just makes you wonder: do you really want him to win? I know there's the vultures are circling here in Michigan State. He seems like dead man walking. It's like the majority of the fans don't want him. But this is different this week. This is Michigan and Michigan State week. And I know the fans would love nothing better than to beat Michigan. But if they do, that means he's going to be around at least through the rest of the year. And the way that Georgia Tech's coach is doing, and I know that's where Jay Back is coming from, the price of poker to get him keeps going up and up and up. So that's the question I ask. And on the Michigan side of it, did that win against Washington Saturday feels like fool's gold to you? I don't know, man. Washington, rather, they shot themselves in the foot in the second half. As a Michigan fan, I'll take the win. And I know, as it says on the graphic, you might think I'm crazy talking playoff, but just think about it for a second. Michigan's going to be favored to win every game the rest of the year until they get to the Ohio State game. All right. We know that. And if they played right now, Ohio State would truck them by probably 3 touchdowns. But that's what we said last year when they went to Columbus. Nobody in their right mind thought that Michigan was going to beat Ohio State in Columbus. And look what happened. It didn't deter Ohio State. They ended up winning the national championship. But after last year, anything's possible. But I don't know, man. They got to get Haynes back. They got to get Hayes back running the ball. No doubt about it. Underwood needs that running game established. I thought they looked good in spots, but they got the breaks with a couple of bad throws. And we know if they can get some heat on Childs, he's potentially probably going to do the same thing. But this is a rivalry game. 14 points to me is way too much. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. I just don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how fired up Michigan State's going to be. And Michigan, I know they're not going to look past them. Michigan's got to win out at least to get to, go into that Ohio State game with 2 losses. And they've got the schedule that pretty much favors it from here on out. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But I know it looks crazy to talk about Michigan potentially with a playoff run. But, hey, they beat Ohio State at the end of the year. I guarantee you they'll be in the playoff conversation, if not getting one of those spots. But I don't see it happening. But that's what we said last year, right? When they were a 23-point underdog. So just the initial talk on Michigan State Saturday night, 7:30. We're going to talk more about it all week here on our Extravagant Few Minutes episodes for sure. We'll make a prediction on it later on in the week, probably Saturday morning, the final prediction. But it just, like I said, maybe there'll be more hype to it towards the end of the week. But it just seems like the Monday before Michigan State still has more of a rivalry feel, more of the chatter back and forth. Michigan State fans right now in a very subdued state of mind. A lot of them waiting for hockey or for basketball season. Hockey's here. We'll talk about that in a moment. But just does not have the feel of a Michigan State weekend right now. With Michigan State down, many of the fans wanting their coach gone, and Michigan, winning, but it just doesn't feel like they're dominating, and it just feels like an off year for this rivalry. And maybe by the end of the week, maybe by Friday and Saturday, enough dirt will be said to each other to get everybody fired up. But I just don't see it. And that 7:30 kick time, a lot of folks not happy with that. So we'll keep an eye on that. But it is Michigan State week, Maylocks week, whatever you want to call it. We'll get you ready for it by the end of the week. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we said we're going to talk a little bit of hockey. We're indeed going to do that. The Red Wings and Michigan State, and Fuego, dare I say. We'll talk about that right after this here on an Extravagant Few Minutes. Hi, everybody. Captain Lou here. Hey, is there a ball game you want to go to last minute? How about the Spartans at Spartan Stadium? Go to the big house to watch the Wolverines. Is there an NFL game you want to go to? Lambeau Field, Ford Field, wherever, Baltimore. How about the Tigers for the pennant drive? Well, go to SeatGeek. Get those tickets there. Use the promo code Captain Lou right on the screen, and you'll get $20 off of your purchase. It's that simple. So go to the Spartan game. Go to the big house. But use the promo code Captain Lou at SeatGeek, and you'll be all set. Yeah, and speaking of the big game, Michigan and Michigan State this Saturday. I know there's tickets available for that on SeatGeek. If you want to go, use the promo code Captain Lou, and you'll get $20 off of that purchase. It's, again, it's the big game. Go to SeatGeek, the official secondary market of the Captain Lou Sports Network. All right, let's turn our attention down to Little Caesars Arena. Yesterday afternoon, a matinee game. Great time to have that with the Lions playing tonight. The Red Wings entertaining the Edmonton Oilers. The last 2 years, of course, they're in the Stanley Cup final against the Florida Panthers. And the Red Wings with another big win yesterday afternoon. I know it's early. I know it's just October, but we'll say it again. You can't win the Stanley Cup in October, but you sure can lose it. And they looked good yesterday as Emmett Finney got his first 2 goals, the second one an empty netter. Almost got the hat trick yesterday on the second Dylan Larkin goal, but they looked fantastic, did the Red Wings yesterday in that 4-2 win over the Edmonton Oilers. What really impressed me was a couple of things. Detroit got out to the 2-0 lead. Then it was 2-1. Then they went up 3-1, and they gave up that goal on that amazing pass to Leon Draisaitl, who found himself wide open in front of the net and just tapped it right in for the 3-2 game. And Edmonton started, you could tell, they had the little bit of mojo. They had the momentum. But what I liked about was the play of the Detroit defense. Getting back, the back check to me was amazing. They neutralized Connor McDavid for the most part, and they didn't give up. They didn't get rattled in that when it was 3-2. A lot of times we saw it last year with the Red Wings, and we saw it in the opening game against Montreal. It was like they went to sleep for 10 minutes. Detroit didn't do that. The speed, Finney, Nygaard, Pelkala, I mean, they all look good. And Johansson and Sherratt, I mean, the defenders to me look fantastic. And I got to tell you, they keep playing like that. I know there's going to be the streaks up and down, and I know it's early, but 5 out of 6 at home, that's what they had to do. They had to take care of business. They were able to do that against Tampa, against Florida, 2 games against Toronto, and again against Edmonton yesterday. Just a great showing for the Detroit Red Wings. Now they got a couple of games on the road against Buffalo and the Islanders. And I got to tell you, also, John Gibson, great couple of games back-to-back in net after that opening night fiasco against Tampa. And then again against last night against Edmonton. Looked strong in net when he had to. Only faced 18 shots. But, hey, he did enough to win, and he looked very, very strong in that Friday night game against Tampa. I'm telling you what, that was he played Herculean in that game in the third period to keep Tampa at bay. So, yeah, if you're a Red Wings fan, it's exciting. It's a great way to start. Why not be excited about it? Why be negative? They've won 5 out of 6, 5-1 in their first 6. They're on top of the division. Enjoy it. Why not? They're looking good right now. Now we'll see if they can keep it up. Speaking of hockey, I don't know if you happen to catch this, Friday night, Michigan State went out to Boston and took on the number 1 team at the time in the land, Boston University, won that one. And then what about Saturday night in that game against Boston? Overtime, after they squandered a 3-1 lead, 3-3 going into overtime. Literally saved that goal from going in overtime and then went coast to coast, 2-on-1 the other way, and buried it for the 4-3 overtime win. Made the number 1 play on SportsCenter. How exciting was that, right? College hockey, if you're not familiar with it, you got to check it out, especially here in the state of Michigan, because right now the state of Michigan is the king of college hockey at the NCAA level, because in the latest rankings, the top 3 teams in the country are all from the state of Michigan. You've got MSU at 1, you've got Western at 2, and you've got Michigan at 3. And then you've got Penn State at 5. BU is at number 4 after losing that weekend series to Michigan State. But what an exciting brand of hockey, especially if you're a Red Wings fan. You've got Trey Augustine, who's former Detroit. He's a prospect in goal. Will be more than likely get a look by the Red Wings in the future. So a lot to be excited for. And speaking of the Red Wings, Michigan State, for Edmonton, we saw Isaac Howard yesterday playing at Little Caesars Arena. So keep an eye out for NCAA hockey. We're going to keep you up to date on that all year, because I'll tell you what, it is the thing right now in the state of Michigan. The top 3 teams in the country: Michigan State, Western, and the University of Michigan. All right, that's going to do it for another extravagant few minutes here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. Enjoy the Lions game tonight, 7 o'clock, Lions and Buccaneers. Buccaneers a 6.5-point underdog. Lions a 6.5-point favorite, obviously. The over-under is 53.5. I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole. But you know who I'm rooting for, obviously. So enjoy the game tonight. Thank you, everybody, for welcoming us into your homes, on your computers, on your laptops, however you watch us around the world, here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. ACHA Power Play tomorrow night at 8, and an extravagant few minutes episode again later on this week as well, at least one, if not 2. All right, everybody, enjoy the games tonight. We'll see you soon. Just a reminder, keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. So long.